So, in this chapter on citizenship, we have already discussed various aspects. I talked about even OCI, NRI, PIO, etc. Now, I would like to make a further clarity or perfect clarity on these three terms which we generally use. That is NRI, PIO, and OCI. So, the difference between or distinction between NRI, PIO, and OCI. So, that is it. It's a small discussion. You might have already might be knowing also, but still I would like to clarify it once again to make sure that there is no ambiguity in these three terms. Okay. So, that is what I am looking forward in this particular video. Now, coming to this word NRI and PIO. So, who is a non-resident Indian? NRI. An NRI means a person resident outside, an Indian citizen residing outside India. NRI means an Indian citizen who is residing outside India. So, he is Indian, he is an Indian passport holder, but right now a person who is residing outside. So, he continues to be an Indian. He has not given up the Indian citizenship, even if he may be staying outside India for many years, even many decades. So, that is NRI. Then persons of Indian origin, PIO, means a citizen of any other country, but who had an Indian ancestry, whose parents might have been Indians or great grandparents were Indians. At some point of time they had an Indian connection. And today we also insist that if they held a Pakistani or Bangladeshi citizenship, then we will not even consider them as PIO in the first place. That is okay. So, other than a person of Indian origin who is not a member of, who is not a citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh, then we will consider them as a PIO. So, normally and we consider persons of Indian origin in the modern history context. See, in ancient time, Indians migrated to various places as part of the cultural diffusion of culture, as part of spread of religion and the human beings who travel from one place to another. See, from India, we travel to Southeast Asia, we travel to Sri Lanka in ancient time. So, that is not considered, though they are not considered as PIOs. We are talking about those who migrated from India in the modern time. More precisely, these days we are considering them who are eligible to be citizens at the time of independence or their children and grandchildren, etc. So, we generally talk about PIOs are those people who were who did not hold any Bangladeshi or Pakistani citizenship, but at the same time, at some point held Indian citizenship. So, a person, an Indian, some of our relatives who have traveled, who are born and brought up in India, studied in India, then who migrated to US or Canada or anywhere for that matter, and if they took the citizenship of that country, then we will call them as a PIO. So, at any point of time held Indian passport, or his parents or grandparents, or his or her parents or grandparents held grandparents were citizens of India. So, if the parents or grandparents were citizens of India, they will also be termed as PIO, or they were eligible to be Indian citizens at the commencement of the Constitution, or they were eligible to be Indian citizens at the commencement of the Constitution. So, they were eligible to be Indian citizens at the commencement of the Constitution, or their spouses also. Now, a person in fact, another person who is termed as a PIO is a spouse of an Indian citizen. The spouse of an Indian citizen, even if he or she is a foreign citizen right now, is referred as a PIO only, person of Indian origin, the spouse of an Indian citizen. So anyway, so a person of Indian origin are those people who are not citizens right now, they are foreign citizens, but at some point of time held Indian citizenship, or their parents or grandparents held Indian citizenship, or they were eligible to be Indian citizens at the commencement of the Constitution, or even the spouses of those Indians, the spouses, the person who is a spouse of an Indian citizen or a person referred who are eligible to be Indian citizen also will be termed as a PIO. So PIOs are not Indian citizens, they are foreign citizens, but they were either Indian citizens at some point of time or eligible to be Indian citizens at some point of time. So that is the general concept. So at 1950 or during the time of the commencement of the Constitution, he or she should have been eligible. Now OCI, I already mentioned in another video, overseas citizens of India, those who apply, who are eligible to be Indian citizens in 1950, and those who applied and those who have been granted that by paying a small fee. So they are called OCI, overseas citizen of India, who actually registered with the government of India to be an overseas citizen, and they are enjoying certain special privileges. So any PIO mentioned in this definition can apply for OCI status, and if they, by paying a fee, and if that is granted by India, then they enjoy much more benefits in India, and they are almost like a dual citizen, but minus voting rights and holding any constitutional position in India. So OCI is a special status given to those PIOs who are eligible to take up this OCI status. So that is given, and I have already explained it in another video. Now when we talk about this NRI, I would like to add a couple more points. So PIO is not an Indian citizen. He has he only has Indian ancestry. NRI, an Indian citizen staying outside India. So he is called an NRI, and normally an Indian who is spending more than 6 months, more than half of the time in a financial year outside India, he will be treated as an NRI. So if somebody is staying more than 183 days outside India in a financial year, then he will be termed as an NRI, and his income will not be counted for taxation in India. That is why this is more a tax classification rather than a visa status, or NRI is more a tax classification. It is not a visa status or anything, it is a tax classification. So this term NRI is not defined under the Income Tax Act 1961. It is not defined. But certain provision, section 6 of the Act contains detail regarding who can be deemed to be a resident of India. Section 6 of the Income Tax Act talks about the criteria regarding who all are deemed to be resident of India. So in that it clearly says that he has to be, if a person is not staying, or if a person is spending 183 plus days outside India, then he will not be deemed to be a resident of India. So that is how it is done. So NRIs are eligible to vote, they are Indian citizens, and their income, most important, why people are interested in getting declared as an NRI? Because now only the income that they have earned in India is taxable in India. So what they earn outside India is not taxable. So that is why the NRIs, when they remit their money to India, it is not taxable. So it is not taxed. That's a great relief for the NRI. They are working hard outside and they are remitting money to India in foreign exchange. That's a great relief for India. In foreign exchange also, India has the largest remittance in the world right now. So These NRIs are able to send money back and it is not taxed in India. Only what they earn in India is taxable in India. So that is a great relief for them. That is why many people are interested in getting an NRI status. So, and it is a great relief for them. So there are three categories of NRIs right now in India. Okay, so there are three categories of NRIs. Number one, an Indian citizen who is staying abroad for employment. Indian working abroad or staying abroad, and he is carrying, working abroad, or he has a business or a vocation outside India. Business or vocation or employment outside. In his personal capacity, is a private, or he is working for some foreign country, maybe government also. So definitely that's it. Number two category is those Indians working abroad on assignment with the UN agencies. Indians working with United Nations. Okay, including IMF, World Bank, WHO, any of them. Okay, the Indians working with UN or abroad on assignment with these UN agencies, WHO, IMF, etc., etc. Okay, IMF, World Bank, WHO, UNESCO, or any of these international institutions. And the third category is those Indian officials or officials of central or state government or public sector undertakings. So the government employees or public sector unit employees who are posted abroad, deputed abroad, posted abroad. Those who are working even for Government of India, including Indian diplomat missions, or including those who are working in the Indian diplomatic missions, including Indian diplomatic missions, those who are working in the Indian diplomatic missions abroad are counted as NRIs. So government employees, central government employees, state government employees, or even public sector unit employees who are working and who are on an assignment abroad, including the Indian diplomatic mission staff, all are treated as NRIs. So they are Indian citizens working abroad and earning money from abroad, and their income is not taxed for the purpose of taxation. So it is more of a taxation classification than anything else. PIO is a foreign citizen but Indian origin, some Indian connection, and that is how, and there is long connection, but especially we count this PIO connection only from the modern time. That means after the advent of the British, and during that time who travelled outside India is generally, especially those who travelled maybe in the last 200 years, during the 19th century, during the 20th century. But specific definitions regarding who can become an OCI, there is a clear connection between their eligibility to become an Indian citizen at the commencement of the Constitution. So only such PIOs are allowed to apply for OCI status. So that I have discussed separately. So this is the difference between NRI, OCI and PIO. So NRI is a full Indian citizen, OCI a foreign citizen having special privileges in India except voting rights and holding constitutional position and holding agricultural land and plantation land. And PIO, they have only historic connection. Right now they are not Indian and they are a foreign citizen right now. They may not have any privilege in India as such. So that is how a PIO is defined. So this is the difference between all the three.